My name is Ryan Gantz. I am proud to join, this is my first time at Media Party, my first time in Buenos Aires. But I am proud to join the long tradition of folks from Vox Media coming to speak with you. My role at Vox is a design architect. And between that title and the stable diffusion image, it makes me sound like some kind of space wizard. But I generally work in the place where systems meet feelings and stories. A lot of times that looks like working in Figma, but I'm a product designer by trade. Increasingly that's strategy in Google Docs and all kinds of things. But I have an unusual story because I have been, unlike a lot of people in media and tech, I have been at the same company for 16 years. And I want to talk to you today about innovation and some of the patterns I've noticed over that time. The challenges that are facing digital media and product especially, and the kinds of things that teams need to innovate based on what I've seen across a period of time. And I want to talk about that through a lens of an organization that I believe is doing it well. Like I said, my story is an unusual one. This is Michael Lovett, Trey Brundrett, Pablo Mercado and I'm the tall one in the back. And Trey and Pablo have spoken here at Media Party before, and we started building the software that became Chorus in 2007 and worked with it to grow over time. At the beginning, we were building software after experience working in political advocacy, grassroots work, and we built Chorus, a platform, to bring together a whole bunch of small sports blogs into a common community. Over time, that platform grew. SB Nation became a big sports brand, and then we expanded into other large categories of media where people are passionate. So we launched The Verge in 2011 for sports, for tech and culture around tech. In 2012, it was Polygon for video games, and they've expanded into comics. We acquired a company called Curbed in 2013 to explore interior design architecture. They also had Eater for food, and we migrated them to our platform and expanded our capabilities to cover other things. And the platform grew. In 2014, we launched Vox.com, which has been is our general news site that also covers elections and policy, and they've grown into videos and explainers and podcasts. And then, just before the pandemic, we acquired New York Magazine, and they came with their own content management system called Clay. And then we had a print magazine business and a subscriptions business. And more recently, we acquired Group 9, which came with their own set of brands. And they have their own platform. That is a lot of growth and a lot of complexity in a short time. We have a podcast network. We have Vox Media Studios that makes Netflix shows. And every single one of these brands has a unique audience, and we need to serve them in specific ways. And that's really hard. It's really complicated. There's a lot of technical debt. We even have an ad platform and a communications platform. Multiple brands, multiple audiences, multiple platforms, story formats that are unique to each audience. And with that growth has come a lot of complexity in the organization as well, right? Engineering became a more mature section of the organization. Career ladders, different skill sets. You don't have to be at a company like mine that's grown over the course of these years to be navigating complexity, right? Whether it's uncertainty from AI or just the sheer number of devices that are sending notifications to your phone, there's a lot of complicated stuff out there. This screenshot in the bottom is from one of the early days on Chorus when we were working on some sports data, trying to solve some kind of workflow thing. I don't even know what it is, but there were just a few of us solving a small problem, and the complexity was enormous. And I'm sure at Media Party, a lot of the hackathon teams, all kinds of challenges you're dealing with have complexity too. So what I'd like to talk about after that whole journey of time is to talk through a couple of key lessons that I think are sort of universal about working in the intersection of media, product, and technology. And I want to do it through talking about a digital media organization or media organization that I think has persisted and that is doing it right. And you may know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Muppets. first Muppets were created on screen by Jim Henson in maybe 1956, but the Muppet Show became internationally very popular, aired from 1976 to 1981. Now, there are a lot of talks I could give about the Muppets and its relevance to media and technology. I could talk about the need to stay calm in an increasingly hectic world. We could talk about the value of diversity or unique voices for making your teams better. Don't let anyone look inside your code base or see your inside of your newsroom. Don't be afraid to blow it all up if you can't handle it. The value of influencers. And of course, don't feed the trolls. But I'm proud here in Buenos Aires at Media Party to unveil my 4 Muppet principles for survival and innovation in digital media. Are we ready? Whew. Number 1, ordered chaos. There was an article on Slate a few years ago about the Muppet theory of personality, that every one of us is either a chaos Muppet or an order Muppet. And part of what the magic of the Muppets is that they bring all those people together. Order Muppets tend to be very constricted in their thinking. They want structure, they want predictability, right? Sam wants moral purity, Rolf wants everything to be chill, Kermit wants the show to work. Chaos Muppets are different. Chaos Muppets do not care, right? They just want to do what they want to do, and they want to be creative about it. And part of what makes the Muppet Show work for the Muppet audience and for us is that these two groups come together. And to make it work, you have to figure out how to balance it. What Frank Oz and Jim Henson figured out is that if you put an order Muppet and a chaos Muppet together on screen, really interesting things happen. And the challenge is doing that and maintaining it as culture if the thing you're making grows. It may be very natural at Media Party or for some of the small projects y'all are working on or in a hackathon environment to mix different people together, to have risky thinking, creative thinking. But if you have too many chaos Muppets, nothing gets done. And if you have too many order Muppets, nothing interesting happens. So you have to find the balance. And the leaders of your organization need to understand that too. So that's the first Muppet principle, ordered chaos. Build a team and a culture to balance focus and risk. Muppet principle number 2. Content steals the show. The Muppets are in the performance business. They are content creators. They sing and dance, and they create content for their audience. They talk to them, they get feedback from them, sometimes bad feedback, and that makes their work better. And it makes their work creative and fresh. They have a feedback loop to try new things, and they're experimenting. The Muppet Theater is a different story. The Muppet Theater is always falling apart. Scooter's uncle owns the theater. Scooter is a Muppet, a Nepo Muppet, I guess. And he's always threatening to shut it down. Infrastructure suffers. Because in the world of media creation and place where media intersects tech, when you're in the content business, that's a certain mode. You're building a machine that creates content. That's the stuff of news, that's the stuff of deadlines, that's the stuff of publishing cadences and working quickly. And a lot of the incentives, the metrics, and the page views that media companies rely on are structured around that. Product is different. Product takes time, product takes planning. And in media companies, because of that content machine mode, most energy wants to head towards content. If there's excess energy in the organization, it will tend to go towards content. You have to redirect it intentionally to focus on product. And you need to spend time on product, and you need to spend time anticipating what the future might bring. Excuse me. Ding, ding, ding. And this is what Paul Chung was talking about yesterday about scenario planning. If you don't take time to redirect energy from your content machine, you're going to get hit with something. And right now, there's more uncertainty than ever about what the future looks like. So that's Muppet principle number 2. Content steals the show. You have to purposely redirect your energy. Number 3, leading is translation. translating, excuse me. There are a lot of unique characters on the Muppets. Dr. Bunsen Honeydew, who is actually a chaos Muppet who thinks he's an order Muppet. The Muppaphone guy. Swedish chef who can never get anything successfully cooked. And New Zealand, who has one very specific skill. All of these characters are specialists. They do one thing very well, such as throwing boomerang fish, and they don't really talk to each other. They don't interact much. They're very good at one thing, and you need specialists, whether it's experts in JavaScript, really good writers with a specific beat, or anything else, to focus on your audience, to serve things well, to do things well. But if you only have a bunch of specialists, it's hard to get anything done. Kermit is a very unique order Muppet. He runs the show, but he's also a performer himself. He sings and dances. He thinks like a creative person. He's even a journalist. And because he's a generalist and does all these things, the Muppet Show is able to innovate, and he's able to bring everyone together. He can talk to different kinds. He can talk to order Muppets. He can talk to chaos Muppets. He can pretend to be a bigwig and solve business problems. He can be entertaining, and he knows when to mind his business. In order to have successful change and growth and motion of an organization, especially in the places where media meets product, meets tech, we need our shared vision to cross disciplines. And that can be really, really hard when there's so many good reasons for specialists to stay with specialists. You have to actively work against that. And it's not just a thing that you need to do person to person. You need the leaders, the people who are making the decisions and empowering other people to understand that as well, to understand the value of being able to speak multiple languages of the different specialists and unite them in a common vision. So that's number 3. Leading is often translating, more important than media product than anywhere else. You have to empower your generalists to bridge those gaps. Last one, follow the audience. Obviously, the Muppets are in the content business. The Muppet audience appears at the beginning of every episode. They sing along. Fozzie or anyone engages directly with the audience, and they focus on them. And they engage with them, even the trolls, right? But it's not just focusing on your audience and making content for them that matters in digital media. You have to actually transform with them. So the Muppets were running in a theater, then they got into the film business. Then they rethought the Muppet Show as a nighttime TV show, talk show in the late 90s. And during the pandemic, they created Muppets Now, which is a different format. They transformed the way they connected with their audience and the formats they used to meet the day and to use the mechanisms that would serve their audience at any given time. And that's what innovation needs, not just change in the content you're producing, but a willingness to recreate how you're getting to it. Everything that they had in the Muppet Theater and everything we have in our current set of products at any given time, our current technology, is temporary. And it's really hard to remember that when the thing you think you're building is the product. What you're actually making is something that's serving your users, your editors, your audience. So those are the 4 Muppet principles. Ordered chaos, content steals the show, leading is translating, and follow the audience. Software is only a stage. What do you think? Yay, Muppets. So, in 2023, after everything I showed before, Vox Media has been through a lot. We've grown, people have left, leaders who are maybe more order Muppets were making decisions, and there's been a lot of change. And as I mentioned earlier, we have so many brands that they're running at times on completely separate platforms that requires different areas of expertise, different subject matter experts who are siloed, a lot of technical debt. And so we've decided to make some changes. Chorus, the software that I started working on with Michael, Trey, Pablo, and others 16 years ago, is getting a little creaky. And it's a lot to maintain. But it's a victory to have software last that long. But what's dangerous about it in some places that I see is that some of the models, some of the data models, some of the user experience interaction models that we built into administrative screens, for example, have informed and changed the mental model that people have of their work. There are people who, because of a specific screen of software, they now think it's their job, or they think that organizing a homepage, for example, needs to happen in a certain way. And that's the danger of software, actually, is not that it gets creaky or there's technical debt, but that it becomes the product and changes people's idea of what they should be. The Muppets knew they were never in the theater business, right? They were always in the entertainment business. And so sometimes you have to kill your darlings. So this year, we are starting to migrate all the sites that are on our platform to WordPress. WordPress has grown a lot. WordPress does a bunch of things. And it's exciting only because it means we can stop putting effort into an old theater and start thinking about how can we redirect our energy and our resources to creating new and innovative things. We're also restructuring our organization to be in brand pods so that we can have different groups of product folks, designers, PMs, and engineers who build a close relationship with, for example, just The Verge and Polygon, our tech and gaming pod. We have, for a long time, reorganized our company every few months or every couple of years. It's been a while, and now we're going to try to do that for the future. And hopefully, as we do, and anyone who wants to survive in digital media will figure out how to make space for experimentation, let go of some of their habits and assumptions, figure out how to bridge across those disciplines, and build relationships with the audience. And as we rediscovered through the pandemic and starting to figure out how AI fits in, there is no script for this. There's only doing our best to set vision that will help create story and make things possible. So thank you so much for having me at Media Party. I can't wait to see what the hackathon brings. And please, why don't you get things started? Thank you.